What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm glad to see you guys back. I got a quick update on the Russia-Ukraine situation. It's a little crazy. Things are getting crazy today. They found the guy who did the bombing, the electrical scooter bombing, and they figured out exactly what happened and how he did it. So, without any further ado, let's get straight into it. So Russia found an Uzbekistan man claiming to be the culprit of the scooter bombing. He admitted to it after they found him and did some interrogation. You know how the Russians get when you get in that interrogation room, it ain't much you can hide from them. So Russia says it detained a man who confessed to planting and detonating the bomb that killed a top Russian general in Moscow on Tuesday. Ukraine took responsibility for the killing of Igor Kirillov, chief of Russia's nuclear, biological, and chemical protection troops, after charging him in absentia with the use of chemical weapons against Ukrainian troops. The unnamed suspect from Uzbekistan, said to be 29, allegedly told Russian investigators that Ukraine offered him $100,000 and residency in a European country to carry out the killing. This is per Reuters. Another news site. I'm going to link the news site that I got this from, which is, let me make sure I get it right for you guys. I am on Newser for this source, and I also use Straight Arrow News, which we're going to get into their article here in just a second. So, per Reuters, he said he traveled to Moscow and bought an electrical scooter on which he placed an improvised explosive device. According to Russian Security Service, FSB, the dark-haired man, who speaks directly to a camera in a video published by the Baza news outlet, reportedly said he planted the scooter outside of Kirilov's apartment building in southeast Moscow, then planted a surveillance camera on a rented car parked nearby so the individuals who'd organized the killing from Dnipro, Ukraine, could see a live stream of what was happening, per Reuters and the BBC. The FSB said the man, suspected of committing a terroristic act, remotely detonated the bomb when watchers saw Kirillov and his assistant exit the building. Both were killed. Ukrainian Security Service, SBU, which we talked about last time, these are the guys who actually charged him with the illegal use of chemical warfare, shared video from the camera on the dashboard of the parked car, which shows Kirillov and his assistant approaching and idling vehicles seconds before the device exploded at 6:12 a.m. local time, per the New York Times. So 6:12 a.m. New York time, to be exact, not 6:12 a.m. Moscow time. I'm thinking. The scooter is then seen on its side, apparently with its handlebars missing. The timing of the detonation was key, as another 10 to 12 seconds later they could have walked away with the eardrum damage, not dead. Explosive expert Nick Gulmak tells the Times. Investigators said that they were identifying others involved in the killing, and Russia's Kommersant newspaper reported one other suspect had been detained. And this came from a news article by Arden Dier. So some quick things to harp on real quick is Ukraine paid this man $100,000, offered him sanction in another European country, and facilitated for this to happen. So that means they rented the car, they bought the scooter for him, and they gave him the improvised bomb. Ukraine is making deals with Russian citizens to take out high-ranking Russian military officials, which is crazy. It's crazy that Russia's own people are basically going against them just for some money. And that might say a lot about Russia. I don't know if the same thing would happen in the U.S. It probably would. You could probably convince a lot of U.S. citizens to do some shit like that to a general of the U.S. Army, honestly. But to keep it going,
Russian authorities arrested a man accused of assassinating the head of Russia's chemical, radiological, and biological weapons unit. Officials identified the suspect as a 28-year-old Uzbek national and allege he was recruited by Ukrainian intelligence to carry out the attack. However, Russia's security service has not released his name. The suspect reportedly used a homemade bomb hidden on an electric scooter to target Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov outside his Moscow apartment. The explosion killed Kirillov and his assistant. Authorities say the suspect installed a camera to live stream the scene and detonated the bomb remotely as Kirillov exited the building. Officials allege the suspect admitted he was promised $100,000 and relocation to a European Union country in exchange for the assassination. He was detained near Moscow.
I want to harp on this because, like I said, this isn't the first person to be assassinated by Ukraine inside of Russia or even inside of Moscow. This is a part of a series of targeted assassinations against Russian military figures linked to the war in Ukraine. Last month, Ukrainian forces claimed responsibility for the death of a Russian naval captain and a former prison chief in separate bombings. Russia's investigative committee treated the killing as an act of terrorism. So, they're treating all these as an act of terrorism. I don't really know how I feel about this personally. Because it's kind of crazy. They're going into Moscow and bombing these individuals. But at the same time, it's war. They're fighting a war. Obviously, this guy has been sanctioned for using chemical warfare. I don't know what these other guys who have been assassinated are. I haven't heard of them. I'm surprised I even heard about this one. But I'm going to keep you updated. I'm currently looking for anyone else who has been assassinated by Ukraine other than the two guys in the last video. You guys should check that out. I'll link in the description. I'll add a card at the end for you to click on it. But yeah, so last month, Ukrainian forces claimed responsibility for the death of a Russian naval captain and a former prison chief in separate bombings. Russia's investigative committee treated the killing as an act of terrorism. The Kremlin accused Ukraine of using terroristic methods, while Ukrainian officials argued military figures like Kirillov were legitimate targets due to their involvement in the conflict. Ukraine has a point, because these generals aren't on the front lines, and sitting here killing these men who are being forced to go and fight in the front lines isn't going to solve the problem. They're going to use the same tactics, and they're not going to run out of men to send onto that front line. But if you take out the head, if you take out the general, well, that makes things a lot easier. There's less people dying if you take out the generals. You don't have to kill 100,000 soldiers on a battlefield if you kill the one head, the one general who's telling these soldiers what to do, because those soldiers don't want to be there and fight. They're there because their general told them to be there. And on top of that, I haven't seen anything of any civilians being hurt by these assassination attempts on these high-ranking Russian generals or officials. So I think Ukraine's right on this one. I think it is a part of war. I think it's all fair and games. I think the chemical warfare is disgusting. We've seen chemical warfare before in World War II and other wars. It's terrible. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not fair. Russia is using drone strikes against Ukrainians who are just there to protect their country. And I don't like the Ukrainian and Russian war. Don't get me wrong. I think this conflict is unneeded and it's a power/money grab. But that's for another video. I just want to give you guys a quick little update on that. And I want to move on to talking about this New Jersey situation with the drones, because I'm actually in America. I'm not in Russia or Ukraine, so my opinion truly doesn't matter. I just want to give you guys the news and the update. Also, a quick update on the New Jersey drone situation. A lot of information/speculation has surfaced over the drones flying over New Jersey, even reports of drones over a California military base. Nancy Macy, U.S. representative, claims they could be extraterrestrial. Trump claims the Biden administration, military, and local governments know what the drones are and are attempting to cover up this information. I want to show a quick video showing what a lot of people are speculating these drones are really for.
Drones. You want to know? Do you want to know what's going on? House lawmakers want to extend expiring counter-drone authorities. It's as simple as that, folks. They are creating a crazy situation to cause panic so that they can pass more legislation that takes away your privacy and your freedom. That's what's happening. The current drone countering authorities expire on December 20th, this week. Under the law, counter-drone authorities were given to Homeland Security, DOJ. These agencies have power to use advanced detection technologies to identify, track, and mitigate drones. Guess what? I'm sure they're using those in other ways too, like on us. And they've got a brand new bill in the works. Counter UAS Authority Security, Safety, and Reauthorization Act of 2024 seeks to give even more powers to these corrupt government entities that are infringing on our privacy and your right as a citizen. That's it. Have a good day.
What's being said here is that the FAA is planning to make people afraid of drones to allow more leverage for more detection laws for counter-drone intelligence. Next, I have a Trump press release in response to questions about the drones
that are flying around New Jersey ports.
The government knows what is happening. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
You should know
they're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on it.
Now, with all that information, I'd like to add a news report at the end of this, but I also, guys, want you to go and look at information about Bob Lazar and the work he did in Area 51, because, to be honest, the way these drones move and the general size sounds very similar to technology that Bob Lazar is working on in Area 51 back in the early 90s, back when the UFOs were just becoming a thing in pop culture in the mainstream. So I think if you guys are really interested in what's going on or want to theorize for yourself, looking into Bob Lazar and the work that he did in Area 51 and for the CIA is a good place to start. But that's all the information I have for today. And guys, remember, don't be delusional.
People in New Jersey are concerned and demanding information after a wave of mysterious drone sightings. But the government has yet to give any concrete answers. One lawmaker is calling for a state of emergency, while another has an ominous theory about a foreign adversary. Here's CBS's Tom Hansen.
This is over my house right now. What is that?
It's the million-dollar question baffling New Jersey residents looking skyward.
They're just pacing back and forth, going very slow.
Since last month, dozens of drones mysteriously hovering in the skies at night. Near Morris County, the FAA has now ordered 2 temporary flight restrictions prohibiting drones over this military base and Trump National Golf Club after receiving reports of unexplained activity. Today, Homeland Security and state police met with some New Jersey officials, including Mayor Jim Maley.
I truly don't believe they have any idea where the drones are coming from.
Many still have questions, including Congressman Jeff Van Drew, who says individuals with high security clearance have a theory about where the drones come from.
Their concern is that a mothership has left from Iran weeks ago, coinciding about the time somewhere along the area of the United States. It doesn't mean they're right off the coast.
But in a briefing today, Pentagon officials dismissed the claim outright.
We have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary.
In Mendham, New Jersey, Olivia DiMattio's coffee shop is right near the sensitive locations where the drones have been spotted.
How big are these things? You know, are they different sizes?
They are the size of small cars, like almost like a Mini Cooper or a Ford Escape size. So it's not something that a kid is buying off of Amazon and flying around as a prank. Like, it's way, way past that.
And we're here in front of Picatinny Arsenal. It provides munitions products for all branches of the U.S. military. It's also one of those sensitive sites that these drones have flown close to. And Nora, both lawmakers we spoke to today say one of these drones needs to be taken down safely so they can get some answers.